16 p.m.
We're live. Guys, this storm was kind of unexpected. See, this is where I'm at, and this is where it's happening, but there was literally no storm 10 minutes ago, and now it's producing a bunch of tornado, like a tornado warning. I seriously kid you not, this storm just popped out of nowhere, just out of the blue, out of thin air. And yeah, if that continues, I could be in trouble, but hopefully it dissipates before then. But yeah, literally 10-15 minutes ago, nothing was there, and it's there now, producing a tornado warning. I guess I'll just stay live and chat with you guys in case if something happens, but yeah. Here, I'll put it right here. Let me try to maybe pull it up on my iPad, because I know they have a website, but also like they're now producing a tornado warning. Hey Jacob, welcome to the stream. Oh, he's not here anymore, I don't think. It says there's 0 people live. Yeah. Literally, these storms popped out of nowhere. Just poof, out of the blue. Maybe I can put it in split screen. Okay, hey Jason. It may be sunny here, but like maybe 30 miles to the north. You know, the tornado warning is not here, it's for up north. There are a couple counties north. But yeah, they literally just popped out of absolutely nowhere. But the storms might roll through the area based on the trajectory, and I don't know, but I started the stream out of just nowhere because these storms just appeared out of thin air. They literally just are happening now. Let me see. As the rain's coming down, it brings that air with it. So that let's try prop it up on the TV here. And that might tie up with another outflow of another storm. So now you can create that rotation or some shear. Just popped out of nowhere. And they approach. So that's probably what's happening here. It's not really a huge area, but enough to create a quick spin up, and easily you could produce wind gusts 70 to 80 miles an hour. So that's why that warning is in effect. Wow. You can see the red shade going all the way into parts of Eden County and southwest Clinton County. Now also, this storm is really just dragging its heels. We could run faster, basically. About 10-20 miles an hour, slowly east-southeast. So it's dumping extreme amounts of rain. Man, they're not moving very fast. Pouring rains can reach higher. Okay, so they're not really moving really fast. Not okay. Golf ball sized hail in Clarksville. Golf ball sized hail? Are you serious? Oh my God. Storms like this really not associated with the front. Supercell, yeah, probably a supercell. Hey Newcastle WX. Yeah, so for any of my new viewers that just joined, these storms just popped out of nowhere and just is tornado warning now. Looks like Lansing is not on here, but this is where approximately where I'm at. There we go, a little bit south of here, and this is where the tornado warning is. But this is my approximate location. Temperatures were low 90s, heat index numbers even approaching. Yeah. So if the tornado warning gets extended out, if these storms move this direction, could be able to catch my radios going off on stream. So yeah. And so much rain that the root systems of trees can't hold it up any longer. And I swear these storms just popped out of absolutely nowhere. The storms be like, poof, I'm here. A little stronger, Colton, I think, in some locations. Yeah, I would definitely say so too. So what we're looking for when we look at the velocity map is where we have the reds and greens that are close together, because we have green that is going towards the radar and the red that's going away. So that's the wind. So when you get those two next to each other, that is showing some possible rotation that's in the thunderstorm, and that's why the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning. So right here, at least this is what appears to be the strongest rotation that's in this thunderstorm. So right here is Lake Odessa. So this is just off to the east of that, so this is along and south of I-96.
this is where we do have this tornado warning that's in effect. So we're starting to get a little bit closer into mid-Michigan here. So Sunfield, if you do live in Sunfield, or if you have friends or family that live in that area,
a required monthly test went off at my local FM radio at 9 o'clock at night. Oh dear.
So for reference, this is where Portland is at. There's a lot of heavy rainfall in addition to this, so we've seen traffic really slow down.
Turn the TV up, guys, so we can hear this better.
But this is right here where we're seeing the strongest rotation, where you have the green and the red color very close to each other. So this is where we're really watching for the possibility of seeing a tornado, a quick spin-up tornado with this.
Also getting a max hail core there too. If we can switch over to
yep, Andy Provenzano's back there.
The max 1 box, so you can see it right behind you.
Oh, is that how high the clouds are? Well, that's cool.
Most likely a hail core that's developed in and around that circulation.
Golf ball sized hail, holy cow.
Going up to 40,000 feet is maximizing all of that moisture out there as well, so it comes down pretty heavy. And at times the rainfall rates were at 2 inches per hour. It's taking a little more than 45 minutes for most of the area to clear, but that's what we're watching when it concerns that system. Not only is there hail, but there's also that rotation that's behind this whole system.
Colton said we could run faster than the storms are moving. That's how slow they are.
That's for sure. When it comes
but
down
it was my first FM EAS alert. Nice,
There's only a couple more storms around. There was a good downpour through Williamston, now in Fowlerville. And as you go further out, not a whole lot going on off to the south. It's very warm and humid down there. We're right on that dividing line to the north where things are a little quieter.
If these storms last, we could get a tornado warning.
Possibly. We're talking about a tornado warning
if these storms hold together
until 4 o'clock as this one system just slowly moves southeast.
Oh yeah.
So it's parts of southwest Clinton County, a good part of northwest and north central Eden County, and a small part there of Berry, going off to the southeast. No, I don't think there's any confirmation of any kind of touchdowns with this, or any rotation yet spotted, but obviously on radar, sometimes you can get a lead time that goes 15 or 20 minutes before something ever happens, if it ever does. So we're still watching this as it moves off to the southeast. And as far as hail, well, there is that possibility, and there have been hail sizes up to 1 3/4 inch, which is basically golf ball size hail.
Jeez.
So there are some cores of
New
hail
York had storms for the whole week.
Coming
Damn.
through the area. And we'll put this on for you, so a better, easier way of seeing where the hail might be at this hour.
Ooh, hail tracker.
Ionia County.
And what's weird, despite the storms being up north or northwest. Oh crap.
Pop that up for you too.
Did I just? Oh. Okay. That's my air conditioning unit. Anyways, there we go. Let me show this somewhere else. It might be storming up there, but it's completely sunny here in Lansing. Completely sunny. Well, maybe some clouds. I can't really tell, but it's sun's a shining.
And a lot of that is going to be there for about an hour time, so be aware of that as well.
1.5 inches plus an hour.
As far as the tornado warning still in effect, we're still looking at all of the storm systems that are trying to merge together. We got quite a bit of lightning in here as well. As that storm moves off to the southeast. Let me back out a little bit, and you can see this whole area moving southeast. Let me click over to our sweeping radar so we can get right inside of these. And while there's some rain shower activity to the east already, there certainly is a lot of rain coming, as well as the possibility of those winds that are rotation across southwest of Portland now. And we'll check in on those to see how they're doing at this time as well. Go right here and still have that rotation. You see east of Lake Odessa and basically just north as you go up M66 there, so that's the area of concern in that county. We are watching that closely, although no reports yet of any of that coming down. I want to take a look at a sky cam for you, and this is the MSU sky cam facing off to the west where the skies are dark. But the note here is that it rained a few minutes ago at MSU. Now the sun's back out and the air is heating up again and destabilizing. All the sky cams to the south are showing nothing but lots and lots of sunshine here, there, and everywhere. So again, we're keeping an eye on all of this for you. Is that the tornado warning does continue till 4 o'clock. As we go into the late afternoon hours, I'm sure there will be more action going on off to the southeast. and that would include Jackson. But I've kind of highlighted the points here of concern. These are a few little storms of size, but of still importance. North of Stockbridge, headed over basically down I-96 into Livingston County, but the warnings are still issued for this one storm, which kind of has held together here, Colton, for quite a while as it drifts its way off to the southeast. Again, we would expect you, if you're in, especially into southwest parts of
wherever they're at, they're
County,
getting
and then
dumped on rain.
Southeast parts of Ionia County, seeking shelter in a lower place away from windows, because these kind of winds, and a lot of reports the last couple of days with these storms, how people said the winds hit you and then disappear real fast.
I don't know whether it's in their viewing area or not.
Yeah, and if we want to switch over to the velocity here, what we have been seeing too here with this thunderstorm is actually, it appears to be at least some good news, at least from what I'm seeing on the velocity map. And Andy, I don't know if you want to weigh in on this. It looks like the rotation has weakened just slightly. This has been the area of concern right here. We're not seeing a ton of bright colors with this, so that would indicate that the winds are stronger. In the latest radar scan, we get these every couple of minutes. It doesn't look quite as impressive, but still, we do have this tornado warning that remains in effect. I've been keeping an eye and with our partners at the National Weather Service. There has been nothing confirmed with this thunderstorm, but the potential is there that there could be a tornado, and that's why we have the tornado warning that's in effect for northern parts of Eaton County. Now, this is in southern Ionia County, right very close to Sunfield, so about to cross over into Eaton County at this time. So just to the south of Portland is where we have been seeing this. And like we mentioned, we've been keeping an eye on this particular storm because it had been showing signs of rotation for quite some time. And given the type of environment, these storms can kind of pulse up and then they kind of do fade away a little bit quicker. But at this time, we're still keeping an eye on right here as the possibility of seeing a tornado, just because there is some rotation that's showing up on radar. And this storm is moving incredibly slow. The latest estimate is moving at 20 miles per hour to the southeast. So that is very slow. So this has a tremendous amount of heavy rainfall. So that may also be a concern here. And the tornado warning also does specify that there is some hail in this. So we could see some very large hail with this thunderstorm. So I'm going to step off here and kind of switch over to a different radar loop, because this thunderstorm also has a lot of heavy rain with it. And you can see that here. But hopefully some of these thunderstorms that are a little bit further to the south of the main thunderstorm that produced a tornado warning, sometimes that can kind of cut off the air that's going into the thunderstorm, so it's not quite as unstable if the thunderstorm is starting to wrap in some of this air, because we're starting to get some rain down here and that is cooling down. So typically what you would see with this situation is that the thunderstorm that's off to the north will actually start to weaken, but at this time we still do have the tornado warning everywhere that you do see in this red color, and that does include Grand Ledge. So that's why if you do live in Grand Ledge, you want to make sure that you are getting into your basements and into the interior part of your house. You're probably hearing tornado sirens going off in this part of mid-Michigan as well. The main concern just south of Portland, very close to Sunfield right now, is moving into northern Eaton County. The rotation one not too long ago was right along M66. Now it's beginning to look a little bit further off to the south and east, where we are seeing this very powerful thunderstorm. But we're going to keep an eye on what's happening just a little bit further south of there. We are seeing the storm near Potterville and eventually getting into Charlotte. It looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning, which I'll step off here and give you kind of the updates here with that severe thunderstorm warning. That looks like it was just issued for
Day 2 marginal risk excessive rainfall.
Trying to see if we have any storm reports in.
Portions of your area.
No reports in yet. Still some good circulation with that system, and it's broad. In other words, it's not really well defined, so it's just a broad anti-cyclonic flow here that is or cyclonic flow, I should say, that is giving us that rotation, the potential. This is all just potential, but there has been gusty winds and some very heavy rain. So I want to point out that never at any time, it's still not, or have we been under a watch? Have we been under any kind of special weather statement from the Storm Prediction Center? This is all driven by the daytime heat and sunshine, and then there is a weak front that's laying across northern parts of mid-Michigan, that you can see how everything's kind of going down I-96, paralleling that front. There will be a merge of these storms soon across that area that may play a role in this as well. But that tornado warning, the red shaded polygon, goes till 4 o'clock. Likely to see that probably last, only because this storm system is just taking forever to weaken and move. It's not moving much at all. All the other storms are probably good downpours, but nothing severe with the ones that are now into Livingston County. And you go south of Mason, there's very little to talk about down there.
Yeah, Andy, one thing that I want to point out here too, and we're seeing these thunderstorms it's kind of an interesting setup in the atmosphere because there's so many different types of boundaries that are all across mid-Michigan. So you can actually pick one up right here into parts of Berry County. Again, kind of getting close to the Grand Rapids Metro. See that little line there? That's one of those boundaries that's even being picked up on radar, likely being produced by this severe thunderstorm. It's pushing a lot of the cool air out away from it, and you are seeing these boundaries, but sometimes you get thunderstorms to form along that as well. So we still do have this tornado warning. Now, this is very far just to the west of the Lansing area. It does include parts, again, of Portland, or I should say of Ionia County, of Clinton County, as well as Eaton County with this thunderstorm as it continues to move in. We have a check-in with our partners at the National Weather Service to see if there's any updates, if there is any confirmation of anything. There is not at this time, but still you want to treat this as a dangerous situation because we are seeing rotation within this thunderstorm. So that means that there could be a possible tornado with this. Now, one of the things we've seen these storms kind of strengthen, then weaken, then strengthen. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. We are starting to see more storms kind of pop up here just to the south of this tornado-warned storm, and eventually it looks like they're going to collide. So we'll see what that typically means for these thunderstorms. It could form into a kind of a larger thunderstorm complex as it moves a little bit further out to the east and eventually going to move into parts of Grand Ledge and maybe eventually towards the Lansing area as these thunderstorms are moving to the east very slowly at 25 miles per hour.
If you go to max 1 and put that behind you, Colton, you can see these outflow boundaries. First of all, the significant one that shows up is going through Ingham County. So the storms that even blossomed up in Williamson, Weberville, now headed Fowlerville and off to the southeast, they have significantly cooler air as well as that big push of
Tennessee
rain
tomorrow.
pushes
That's
the
cool.
air out. So the first
Cool.
outflow boundary is right here. You see that curve?
Cool
That originated from these storms going south. The storms that originally formed here, you can see the outflow. So it's actually picking up the wind that's racing away from that. So if you're living in Hastings, you probably felt that go through the gusty winds and probably slightly cooler air coming from the top of that storm. But what happens is when they merge with others, you get these to blossom up. So the storms that are here, most likely forming in parts of Eaton County due to that flow coming out of these big thunderstorms. When they reach 40,000, 45,000 feet in the air, and it's all rain, just one big rain core, you can imagine the raindrops coming down so heavy, it creates their own wind, and that's what you get. And then with these, become mini fronts. This is a cold front now, racing into an area that may produce a couple of more storms, as it did right here. As you can see when the outflow boundary hit that. And the same thing now we'll be watching here in southeast parts of Ingham County with those storms that were just rainmakers in Williamston and Weberville. Now that outflow boundary is right here. So all of that reintroduces these storms, and they're all in that same core, so not much going on to the south. But inside the storms themselves, we're getting rotation because of all these different winds going different directions, and that's really what it is. It's wind shear, winds that travel in opposite directions with height. So as you go up, it might go this way, then go that way, and that can be induced by these outflow boundaries, and you end up getting these quick spin-up tornadoes, or maybe you just get a general circulation that we have to watch because it can fall out of those clouds very, very fast as they head off to the southeast. So Colton's monitoring what's going on at the National Weather Service, and I don't know if there's anything else to report there.
Yeah, Andy, we're just going to keep an eye on it. The latest update is that the storm appears to be weakening just a tad as it's starting to interact with some of those other thunderstorms there too.
There's a warning now for this storm up here in northern county as well. I think that's a pretty impressive storm system that's blossomed up and containing a lot of moisture. When this is all said and done, we're probably going to get rainfall totals of 2 to up to 3 inches, especially when it first started off in southern Ionia County traveling I-96. We've even seen on our traffic map that everything very, very slow. We're basically now from Portland going to Grand Rapids, so 96 and its construction and the rain kind of all adding up to that. But we're about ready to get a merge here, and sometimes that's a good thing. Certainly going to be some very hefty rains coming into the metro area. Lansing probably going to be experiencing this a little after 4 o'clock, but we still out in the air in the middle of Studio 10 to tell you that we've got a tornado warning in effect. Nothing has been reported on the ground. We've been watching the circulation when this storm first started in Kent County. It looked like there was going to be something going there, and that's what the Weather Service is watching as well. And when we get this kind of air mass, this is not with a cold front. This is not with something that's easy to forecast and say, here's where it's going to develop. It's just embedded inside these storms, and that rotation may be there for a little while longer. but as long as it looks like it can maintain itself, and I think it pulsed a little bit here now, it looks like it's strengthening again in southeast parts of Ionia County, all headed off to the east. And remember, it's only traveling at about 15 to 20 miles an hour, so that's why it can leave behind quite a bit of rainfall. I did check the Consumers Energy power outage map, and there's nothing out there yet. It takes a little while sometimes, so maybe these have happened more in the open country, but it can bring down branches, and if it's out of power line, we saw it happen in Jackson County last night, and then 2 nights ago, also Detroit area last night got hit pretty hard with those trees knocked down. Remember, the trees are fully leaved, so when you put this much water on a leaf, times millions, the tree weighs 3-4 times what it normally does. Very easy for that to break off a branch, especially if it's an older tree, or with the wet ground, you've got root system that's in wet soil, a lot easier to overturn that as well. Saw some of those in Jackson County last evening. A couple of big trees just got uprooted as those heavy rains moved on through with those gustier winds. Colton, got any more information that you can pass along?
We can switch over to the other weather computer here because we just want to give a general groundwork here with the tornado warning and the severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect there, Andy.
Yeah, so here the red shaded area has been reduced, obviously, as the storm's gone through. It has not been extended, so that's good news. The thunderstorm warning is the yellow shade, which is basically kind of outlining that little middle red area that has a tornado warning. But that warning's going to go to 3:45. There has not been much in the way of weakening with that, and we're only 15 minutes away, so I would anticipate that's going to go all the way. And then they may have to additionally, if that storm doesn't weaken, they may have to additionally extend this warning. And again, I want to repeat, we've had no reports of any tornadoes. We've had no reports of any tornado damage. We've had large hail with this. Golf ball size hail, gusty winds up to 70 miles an hour. I think that's created by the downflow of all of that rain. But other than seeing radar picking up that rotation, and it's been minuscule at times, that's why the warning is out, because it doesn't take much when it goes from there to being on the grounds. And this is the velocity. Again, what the radar can do is measure the raindrops, which way they are going and how fast, or whether the raindrops are headed towards the radar, which is in Grand Rapids, or headed away from the radar. So you have the red versus the green. And we did have significant circulation, maybe a little bit here, but it really has changed in the way how it's looked in the last 30 minutes. I think this is still the circulation the Weather Service is still watching at this time. I believe that's true, Colton.
Yeah, Andy, we still do have that tornado warning in effect because of exactly that, but we keep an eye on the velocity because that is telling us where there is a rotation with this thunderstorm, and it looks like it's right along that Eaton and Ionia County line where we do have the strongest part of this rotation. So we've been mentioning this part of mid-Michigan. Now, there has been some storm damage with other thunderstorms that are a little bit further off to the north and west. This particular storm has had a history of producing some very large hail as well as a lot of heavy rainfall, but obviously we do not have the tornado warning that's in effect until 3:45. It is because we are picking up on some rotation, but as we've been mentioning, we've kind of have a few thunderstorms that have kind of blossomed up all near each other, so they're going to begin to interact with each other and possibly could congeal into kind of one larger thunderstorm as it makes its way off into parts of Clinton and Eaton counties here within the next couple of minutes with these thunderstorms, and they're producing a lot of heavy rainfall. So a lot of people have been asking us, how fast is this going and where is it going? So what this is doing, this is going very slow. This is not a quick moving system by any means. So this is only moving at about 20 miles per hour off to the south and east. So once it starts raining, if you do live in this part of mid-Michigan, it's probably going to rain for quite some time and produce a lot of heavy rainfall with this. So that is something that we have to be keeping an eye on, because some areas have picked up quite a bit of heavy rain over the past couple of days here with similar type thunderstorms that kind of just pulse up, bring down a ton of rain, bring some wind. We saw one in Jackson yesterday, but again, we still do have this tornado warning that's in effect. The rotation is not looking quite as strong at this time, but they still do keep the tornado warning in effect. We will actually see it happen live on air. If they do decide to cancel this or let it expire, we'll see that red polygon kind of go away when this happens. But we still do have this tornado warning that's in effect. The storm is moving very slowly, like I mentioned, only at about 20 miles per hour. So it will be crossing over into northern parts of Eaton County. The next larger town that it could impact is Grand Ledge, that's off to the east. But we'll keep an eye on this, of course, because once after Grand Ledge, they're starting to get into a little bit more populated areas into the Lansing area. So we're going to keep a very close eye on this. What I do want to do is kind of switch this over. I'm going to do it real quick and switch this over to a different radar source here.
I've noticed that the heights of these storms have come way down, so that's a good sign as it's going to its mature stage and then old age stage, kind of wiping itself out. It could re-enhance as it heads into more favorable air, but we were getting heights on the storm of over 40,000 feet. Now we're probably at 30,000 feet, so that is just one good sign to see out of all of that. But the two systems are about ready to become one, and I think they'll just be a really significant rainmaker. I'm starting to see reports back downstream, parts of Ionia County and certainly Grand Rapids area where like Thornapple Street is and Cascade is all covered with trees, and they're down. And again, a lot of that
to cool off my GoPro before it overheats. I'll put it in the freezer. Try to cool it off a bit, because this thing is not
Kind of thunderstorms.
air conditioning. Put it in the freezer. Something to cool it off a bit.
A bigger thunderstorm kind of developed here.
I thought it overheated for a second. Yeah, that should be good for now.
With this, one of the things that National Weather Service is talking about currently is the fact of how much rain can come down, because these thunderstorms are just not moving very quickly at all, and they're producing a lot of rain. We all know it's very hot and humid outside. There's a ton of moisture in the sky, so this is kind of squeezing that moisture out and producing these very heavy downpours with this thunderstorm, and that's why we've been tracking them for so long. But again, we still do have that tornado warning that's in effect for everywhere that's in that red shaded color. Goes in effect until 3:45. Does include northern parts of Eaton County, southwestern parts of Clinton County, and of course into Ionia County at this time. Now, the National Weather Service will have a decision to make here soon on whether or not to extend any of these warnings further off to the east, which of course may start getting into the Lansing metro. So that's something we'll need to be keeping a close eye on. And of course, that's why we have been bringing you this warning information for you for as long as we have, because we know where this storm is going, that it is moving off to the south and east, where we do have a tornado warning that's currently in effect for northern parts of Eaton County, and then of course getting into western parts of Clinton County. So this is a pretty rural part of mid-Michigan at this time, but if you do live in this part of mid-Michigan, you want to make sure that you're getting into your safe spot, because you may see something spin up really quickly, a really quick spin up tornado in a situation like this, especially once these storms.
Oh, when I put the air, that sounded like 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Oh, when I put the camera in the air conditioning unit to try to cool it off, and it probably does, because blowing cool air on it.
That is south to Sunfield, right along M50 that I'm seeing.
I wouldn't be
here
surprised.
On my radar on my desk right with me. Some rotation
I do not want my GoPro to overheat.
Off to the east,
so I might just briefly put it in the freezer or something
maybe
to
not
cool
so
it
much
off,
the one
because
that
this thing overheats a lot.
Again, moving east,
You sure it's not?
around 20 miles an hour.
It's starting to overheat again.
Storm now has more well-defined, a little bit of circulation.
Yeah, and
anyways, I might put
news here. It looks like
the GoPro in the freezer for a few minutes, because they're just blabbering on about the same stuff. I'll take it out if something new happens.
Because it looks like this warning may not be in effect for very long, so it will be included on there. And we do have this.
leave it in there for a little while longer. Rotate. Let me rotate it like this. So, there we go. Alright, I'm gonna take it out. It's good enough for now. I just heard that the tornado warning was canceled.
Very strong wind gusts, as well as the possible
tornado
that was in effect earlier. So that's a live look. You can actually see the rain shaft here begins there and stretches all the way back here. So this is a very powerful thunderstorm that's just to the west. So this is the Delta Township facing that storm that is off to the west. But again, it looks like the positive developments. I'll pull up radar one more time and show you that the tornado warning is no longer in effect, I don't believe, as it has fallen off our systems. It might still show up on this system here. But again, this thunderstorm has had a history of producing some very large hail, as well as a lot of heavy rainfall across the area. So we are still seeing a severe thunderstorm warning that's also in effect until 4 o'clock. Now this does include kind of the same areas for Clinton, Eaton, and Ionia counties here, because this thunderstorm has been very strong across that part of the region. So we're going to be keeping an eye on these thunderstorms as they continue to make their way through. It actually looks like they kept the warning until 3:45.
Yeah, 3 more minutes it'll be done.
Oh wait,
yeah,
no, 3 more minutes.
Either way you look at it, so about 3 more minutes that they will keep the warning in effect. But they did.
The tornado warning for that area is about to expire unless they extend it.
That goes until 4
It expires in
same,
3 minutes.
Part of the area. So we've been monitoring this storm for a while now, as it has been making its way through western parts of mid-Michigan. Again, we can actually show you that here with one of our sky cams. I'll pull it up again because it was showing where the thunderstorm actually is at this time, and you can actually see the very heavy rainfall that is associated with this thunderstorm. This is our Farm Bureau insurance cam. This is in Delta Township, so we kind of turn the camera to face off to the west where this thunderstorm is, and you can see where the light is and then where it gets dark. So this is the rain shaft that is associated with that very powerful thunderstorm that has had a history of producing some very large hail and has been tornado warned by the National Weather Service because there have been some signs of some rotation in this thunderstorm, but it doesn't look like the storm is quite as strong as it once was, but we still do have those warnings associated with it. And we'll continue to keep an eye on this until we see that warning drop off. Andy, have you seen any storm reports?
I just checked on those, and other than the damage that initially came into parts of Kent County and far western Ionia County, there has been nothing reported as of yet. Usually that takes a little while to trickle down, and I think the last thing that the Weather Service can get to is putting those local storm reports out. It's usually their last thing. Sometimes they're half an hour later or so, but we would assume that, again, some of these rainfall totals in southern Ionia County, parts of southwest Clinton County could be in excess of 2 inches, maybe approaching 3, especially in Ionia County, and these are very heavy rain makers. It certainly has dropped the heat index down in some areas where the rain has gone through. It's now 80 in St. John's, 85 in Ionia, while it still feels like 95 in Charlotte. So you can see that big differential there. But the storm system itself, not as big, not as tall, still producing rain. And again, we're 1 minute away from this expiring, and I think that's what they plan to do.
Yeah, it does appear so. But again, we'll continue to be tracking these thunderstorms as they continue to make their way into mid-Michigan. Again, the tornado warning will expire here in less than a minute for parts of mid-Michigan.
Probably once the tornado warning expires, I'll probably end the stream there.
So as it continues to go off into parts of the region here, especially getting closer to Lansing Metro, it looks like the tornado risk is beginning to
Ingham County.
County.
Diminish with this thunderstorm, but a
There's no
tremendous
warnings
amount of
for
heavy
Indian
rainfall.
County, but that's
and
the county that I'm
some
in.
gusty winds as well as
looks like the tornado warning
looks like
is
the warning
expired.
was just dropped off our graphic there, so the tornado warning is no longer in effect, but we do have severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect continuously right now. That's off to the west. So we're going to continue to gather more details. We will have more updates for you both on air and online throughout the rest of the evening, but for now we are going to toss it over to a quick break.
This has been a News 10 First Alert Weather Special Report. We now join our regularly scheduled program already in progress.
Alright, well, I think I'm going to end off the stream here. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys.
The TV, let me turn it down and speak closer to the mic. I'm in Ingham County. Ingham, Ingham County. Anyways, I'm gonna end the stream now. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next stream.